Activism Insights is an effort from members and supporters of the VenusProject.com resource-based economy and is not an official spokesperson, representative, or act in any official capacity and serves only to encourage, support, and motivate other TVP activists.
Everybody, we're here at the Venus Project Research Center in Venus, Florida. Welcome to another edition to Activism Insights. We really have a great guest this afternoon, and just almost everybody knows Bonez, who does some incredible music and performed at the Centennial event last year in 2016. This is March in 2017, and I'd like to introduce him, and we can get some insight on how he's reaching and spreading the message of solutions. So why don't you just tell us who you are and what part of the world you're in?
Yeah, definitely. My name is Bonez. I go from Alexandria, Virginia, all over the DMV, wherever I can. Virginia, Maryland, D.C. is what the DMV refers to. But when I get a chance, I travel. And like with many artists, there's the term starving artist. Traveling can be, difficult. So when I get a chance to come out to places like Florida or Fort Myers or anywhere that can, is willing to hear somebody speak about something through their music, a message to their music, I'm there when I can. But mostly around Alexandria, Virginia. I've been doing hip-hop music since I was a teenager, but only recently, since discovering, basically since 9/11, when the crimes of this government really have been becoming a thing that people talk about more and more frequently. You look for more solutions and things outside of the system, and that's what you try to do with your music. You try to propose not just the problems that's going on in the world, but you try to take it one step further and propose maybe a solution to improve the conditions of this world.
Yeah. I got it, brother. And how did you learn of the Venus Project resource-based economy?
I had a friend who turned my brother onto it. He archived a bunch of like documentaries from the internet, and he threw our way the first Zeitgeist movie and the Future by Design movie. And at that time, I didn't know that Zeitgeist and Venus Project had worked together. I saw them independently. I thought they were both great films. So when they gave me the copy of Future by Design, I thought it was interesting, like Jacque's designing these buildings that are hurricane-proof, and these, systems of like basic everyday stuff, like rethinking the toilet and shower, and finding like real solutions to saving water, to improving conditions for life. Not talking about, well, we should elect this person or write this rule, write the laws this way, like in that country. He's really working on stuff that can make sense to everybody. So I thought that was really interesting about the film. Whereas with Zeitgeist, it was great. It was like any other system that points out the problem, but it didn't take it that step further to what we do next. So through that, I learned about the Venus Project, and ever since then, it's been on and off study, more and more study as the years, these last couple of years have progressed, and incorporating not just the Venus Project's message, but also like the more fundamental message of global unification into the music. Because a lot of people from where I come from in hip hop, they talk a lot of beef and feud, and it's this guy versus that guy, and this, New York rappers are better than LA rappers. There's a lot of fussing and fighting, and for what? Like we're all supposed to be one people. That's what the term one love in hip hop means. It refers to us all being one, and and supporting that, fighting for each other, not fighting with each other. So the Venus Project and everything I've learned about the conditions that create the problems, what I try to do is translate that into different forms of music, songs about women who need to leave their abusive partner, men who need to leave the woman who's not appreciating them, sustainability, police brutality, all kinds of topics can go into music, whereas a lot of artists choose to rap about ego. They want to talk about how much they've gotten and what they've accomplished and who they've been with, where they've been, and that doesn't help anybody. You might be able to make a nice sounding piece of music, but what did somebody do with that? So with my style of music, I'm trying to present somebody with something that not only sounds pretty good, but something that they can take and start a conversation with and move forward.
Dig that. So, and why did you pursue the Venus Project resource-based economy?
Because it makes sense. I can't think of any reason why not to. When you learn about the stuff that they talk about, that Jacque and Roxanne talk about in the Venus Project, it just makes so much sense to unite under one banner and really just start managing these things managing the things that we really need, not money, not territories, not boundaries, but like food, water, and resources, things like that. So it just made so much sense to me that I thought, how could I not get behind this kind of thing, you know? And people ask all the time, well, you know, it'll never happen. Well, maybe, but is it gonna stop us from working at it? No, you know. And that's the thing, like, you know, you don't shoot for anything, you don't shoot for any goal and you know, get deterred when somebody says it's not possible.
Yeah.
Of course people are going to tell you it's not possible, and they hear it all the time. But you know, with again, your question was why? Because it matters and it makes sense. And if it was just some pseudoscience or some tinfoil theories about, you know, peace and love and unity, you know, it's hard to get behind that. But they're talking about a real global system of resource management, which can sound kind of technical and can be intimidating because of the amount of study that Jacque and Roxanne have had to go through to arrive at this. But it's not so far out that any human could understand it. So the reason why I put that kind of stuff in my music and direct my music through that new value system and point of view is because more people can get behind that. So it's not about I can sell more records or, you know, sell more DVDs. It's about you can have a bigger impact, and then somebody else's life can be better off of a song. And you've taken something that, you know, out of nothing, you take a piece of paper and a microphone, it's nothing if it sits there. But if you got a good idea, you've talked to people who have experience, you're sharing somebody's story. You know, I'm not going to write a song about me. I want to write a song about, you know, this guy's experience or somebody. For example, I did a song from the perspective of a victim of police brutality. I wanted to do a song for the families because there's already enough songs about, you know, F the police and anti-government. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to show support. So this organization is exactly that. It shows support to every living, not just person, but also creature on the planet, because it talks about planetary security with restoring the environment, you know, and all creatures can have a better life.
Yes,
You know?
yes. And so I wanted to get into that you are a musician,
Yes, sir.
and that you have produced and have available and are reaching, and now it's in multiple languages.
Yes, sir.
We've seen in Russia and all over this planet Earth that your music has a message that people, and how music transcends.
Yeah.
And so tell us a little bit about the music performances and how you're able to spread the word through your music.
Well, first of all, it's a lot of fun. I mean, I wouldn't be. That's why I started doing it. It was, you know, hip hop and music was just something that's just cool to do. It's fun, but more and more you shape your art towards your values. And what I've been doing now is not just having fun with going out and performing, but at the same time having a conversation with somebody after the show's over, you know, because it's nice. It's selling CDs is nice. People come and shake your hand and buy a CD. It's great. You go home, you make a few bucks, but if it ends at that, then you don't really do anything for that person. But if they have a conversation with you and say, you know, hey, that piece you did about, you know, the families, that really resonated with me, or, you know, I went through an experience that was similar to that, you know, you really touched my heart. That's really what matters, because then that person goes home with a little bit more validation, because you made them feel like they matter. You know, you're pointing out their struggle, you're pointing out their position, you're making them feel a little uplifted, and that's kind of what I like to do. You know, because if I was going around, even if I did think myself, you know, the greatest MC or the greatest this and that, you know, how's that gonna encourage anybody else to come support me? You don't want to support a guy who has ego, and I don't want to be that person to detriment the culture anymore, because hip hop it's cancerous right now with all the feuding. But I like to take this message through music, and I like to see what people do. I like to, you know, shake people up a little bit, maybe make them question what they do and try to one up themselves. You know, that's what it's all about, improving yourself, not saying, you know, I'm above you because I'm on the stage, or, you know, I got an album, but, you know, this is something that anybody can do. What I'm doing, you can do it. What they're doing, you can do it. There's no difference.
Out of
You know,
sight,
self-empowerment.
and it transcends so much. You know, everyone seems to gravitate to music as an escape, or now as a solution, learning about stuff. It's really very cool, and we're deeply appreciative to the work that you've done. And I would encourage everyone, we have links to his page, to the music. He helps contribute to this effort. And so if you like this effort, if you see the amount of impact and realize how important it is, then we encourage you to support him.
Yeah, darknightrecords.com. It's DARKNIGHT records.com. We got albums, we got free music, free videos, bunch of free shit, but you can also support. You know, we're like anybody else. We depend on donations and support, but we're gonna do it regardless. You know, so if you guys want to check out the free stuff and support, you know, do that. But you know, every donation helps, and it helps me travel, helps us do this work. You know.
Yeah, and every one of the songs has a message, so you get a little more exposure. So
Yeah.
check his page out.
Thank you guys for listening.
And hey, look, it's been a pleasure, and we look forward to updates as they continue as with your career and spreading this message, now in multiple languages, so everybody
man.
check that out. I'd like to thank you, brother.
You're welcome.
Make America great again. When was it ever great? We need to get up off the couch and make a better place. The choices are, the time is now, and still we hesitate. Another world is possible now. We gotta demonstrate. Beyond war, beyond politics and poverty. We don't need presidents and leaders to be following. It's time to do away with flags and borders for good. We got the voice and power, and now the choice is ours. We can build paradise so we can drop bombs. Learn more at thevenusproject.com. We can build paradise so we can drop bombs. Learn more at thevenusproject.com.
For more information on the venusproject.com resource-based economy, log on to the venusproject.com website or check out the venusproject.com YouTube channels and Facebook pages.